Hey there, sports fans. Curious Formula here with 5 reasons why Joe Biden may not be re-elected president in 2024. But before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel to get more content and analysis and ring the bell, ding ding, for alerts. So let's dive into reason number 1. Despite an incredible legislative record of achievement, there is an embarrassingly large enthusiasm gap of support for the incumbent president. Joe Biden's approval rating fell below 40% for the first time since August 2022 on July 1st of this year. And that's according to data from elections analytics website 538, led by our good friend Nate Silva, who's usually right on these issues. Now, low polling numbers in the age of Trump are not new. Even Obama was underwater a year before his own re-election campaign in 2011. Doesn't seem like that long ago, does it? But Biden has been low for quite a while, despite some impressive action on his priorities. Voters, including Democrats, want someone else. And it seems like even his most ardent supporters are only doing so because he ain't Trump. Joe Biden will need a similar 2020 turnout in 2024 because that was a record in U.S. history, and he may not get it because this time he is the incumbent, not Trump. That was the same fear that Dems had regarding Obama in 2012 because Obama's 2008 election was another historic election. The question then, as it is now, was whether independents would come out again for the president when history was not on the line, or a great recession with a historically unpopular outgoing president in office to run against. I'm saying history way too much in this video.
History.
That brings us to reason number 2, the savaging, and I do mean savaging, of Kamala Harris.
Do you have plans to visit the border?
Not today. And saying we're not paying them nearly enough. Is there a sufficient second?
The right is savaging VP Harris's record as vice president, calling her incompetent and depicting her as unserious. 49% of registered voters now have a negative view of Vice President Kamala Harris, compared to 32% with a positive view. And that's per a new NBC News poll in June of this year. And NBC News is not some right-wing place. NBC News says that Harris's net negative rating of -17 is the lowest for a vice president in the history of its poll. Speculation surrounding whether President Biden will serve another 4-year term or is physically capable of doing so makes his successor that much more relevant in the eyes and minds of potential voters and the electorate in general. Does the American public have faith in a Harris administration after the 2024 election? We will see, and this naturally leads me to reason number 3. President Biden's health perception is a real concern. The fallings, the gaffes.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
The loss of timbre in the voice is a concern for many. Contrast Biden's debate performances with Donald Trump in 2020.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
You pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy,
Talk,
the wrong
Joe.
night at
Go.
the wrong time.
Listen.
Versus his aggressive takedown of Representative Paul Ryan, the 2012 GOP VP candidate, during their debate.
He sent me 2 letters saying, by the way, can you send me some stimulus money for companies here in the state of Wisconsin? We sent millions of dollars. You know why he said
You
he
did ask for stimulus money,
Sure he
correct?
did. By the way,
On
he
2
took the-
occasions, we advocated for constituents who are applying for grants. That's what we do. We do that for all constituents who are
Oh, I
applying.
love that. I love that.
It is still one of my favorite debate performances of all time. I mean, Joe Biden beat that boy like he stole something from him. Reason number 4. And this is a controversial one, but middle America thinks that the Democratic social agenda is too radical in the wrong areas and not radical enough in the right areas. Now, I don't personally care where you stand as an individual on these issues. I personally am a progressive on most of them, but politically now we're talking. Polls show Americans are at odds with the administration and Democrats in general on wedge issues like the participation of transgender students in sports and using women's facilities etc., just to name one. And in recent Meredith polls, when asked if the American way of life was disappearing, 2/3 of Gen Z respondents agreed. That's Gen Z. They're supposed to be woke. Another poll showed that 71% of Americans say political correctness has silenced discussion society needs to be having, and 58% have political views they're afraid to share. Again, we're talking Gen Z here. But those same polls also show a Biden administration not being radical enough on issues that are important to his base, like creating entrepreneurial opportunities and public school choice options for Black and brown families, the president's base, both in terms of within the Democratic Party and outside. Now, regarding the latter issue, various public polls have shown support for public charter schools as an innovative educational option for families trapped in generationally failing district schools, between 60 and 80% approval, especially post-COVID. But Biden has consistently embraced traditional education policies that have never really shown the ability to effectively educate the masses of people of color, like since, well, never. More on that in my upcoming Education Fridays post beginning next week, so stay tuned. Now, the public's ire regarding the taking away of reproductive rights made Trump, no pun intended, the outrage of middle America over the other wedge issues. But will it be enough to win the general election in 2024? Can the Dems get their ideology away from the coast and concentrate on who votes in the middle of the country? Which brings us to reason number 5A. I gotta do a 5A and 5B for this. I did it for the Trump video, so leave me alone and cut me some slack.
Shut up!
Reason number 5A. A GOP nominated candidate other than Trump would cause havoc with Biden's re-election plans. Question: what if Trump is not the GOP nominee? Uh-oh. You know, in boxing, they say that matchups make fights. Styles make for competition. So how would a Biden beat a Tim Scott, a Nikki Haley, a Vivek Ramaswamy, or Chris Christie even? Can you tell I don't like Chris Christie too much? I digress. Now, I still think Biden beats all of them hypothetically, but it becomes a closer race and throws a lot more states into competition, like Michigan and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, and maybe even states that the Democrats are not even looking like they have to fight for, like Virginia and Nevada. Now, come. Imagine with me, little never Trumper boys and girls of the Republican Party, a world where your nominee is a mainstream Republican, classically conservative with a united GOP behind him or her, appealing to apple pie and to your secret winning formula of the 3G issues from the good old days, gays, guns, and God. Shout out to Howard Dean. And he or she looks vibrant and strong and is quick-witted and decisive. The loss of the MAGA voters, the juice for large GOP turnouts, could be replaced with independent voters that are not enamored with 4 more years of Sleepy Joe and wanting desperately so to turn the page on both Biden and Trump and usher in a new era of leadership from somebody else and someplace else. And finally, reason number 5B. A potential third-party candidate may actually take more votes from Biden than Trump. In my last video, 5 reasons why Donald Trump will never be elected president again, go and watch it here, I mentioned that if Trump won the GOP nomination again, you could count on a mainstream Republican running as an independent to take crucial votes from him in key states that he would need to win. I even said that candidate could run on the No Labels Party ticket. But now it looks like a Democrat or a moderate Dem may be a third-party candidate. Someone like Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, or even a liberal Republican, I know, an oxymoron, like John Huntsman, could run and be on the ballot in all 50 states if No Labels is successful in its ballot initiative effort. And that would take more votes from Biden than Trump in those crucial states. And then, oh boy, look out, all hell would break loose. But let me know what you think. Bless your buddy by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Hit the bell to get alerts to new content, and check out my content on other platforms listed below. Below, right there. Yeah, right there. Feel free to share. And as always, a simple quote from our good friend George Orwell: in a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. We need more truth tellers and revolutionaries. Stay curious or
Shut up!